Oops, I almost forgot to start the recording. Well, not that I didn't, it's just that I didn't feel like I should start the recording yet since I want to test something. I changed the thingy back, I forgot the old settings I did, but I'm just trying out and seeing what works. So let's test the battle music. Made sure everything is set up. Well, at least that music's working fine. Since I like Sumeru so much. And unfortunately, I mean the first track isn't fun, but I listen to it all the time already. Which is why I didn't want to use it, but... Anyway. The quickest way to get all the things that I want is by teleporting back to the Shrine of Resurrection. So let's do that.
Also religiously play highly responsive to prayer. You are loud. You want them to return. But there is a major problem. You damn know well decide that Mika is never going to return. Doug hates people and CA claims that anyone who is her.
What?
You are a shipper on Twitter because of a conversation with random evidence that she was in love with someone. You are a person who is a magical girl genre of anime, likely having planned closet dedicated to bars or something like that. TLDR, you're a big nerd. Local Venus stands are crazy and wacky, and they also love Tall a lot. You play Luigi's Mansion.
That's it.
You are a nerd that enjoys science class. You likely look like that nerd emoji and have to put out every single thing you teacher. You did a great job, but that also means you are still a big nerd.
No. What happened to the Beatles here?
You have a thing for Sailor Moon, or for getting in fights at Swamp Power.
Damn it.
You study chemistry and think it's the coolest thing ever. Robot? You love robot. And this out. You like Balin, but want to stand down. So, ignore.
Oh hey, it's working. Alright. The two songs are working properly. I'll take that as a victory. Yo, a red star. Whoa, holy crap. You know, let this weapon break, break, brick. Since all the shields only have a shield strength of 5 now, disarming weapons with perfect shields is impossible now, which is kind of frustrating. And now we need to use... Are you kidding me? Okay, that makes enough sense, but damn. These will be useful. Right, the best way for me to...
You think like the only male in Saw does, but you don't relate to her. Newspeak man, programming websites and archiving history. Just like the nerd.
Oh, actually.
Look, but you want to see the coolest thing that you ever read the manga? I think this race is much better before than the hack, but the cool, crazy, purple-haired girl is much better than whatever this is.
I still haven't reached the... I mean, I have been using items pretty frugally, which is good, but... I mean...
I can't respect characters that have to be characters based on other characters.
I mean, may as well get some wood. Hey! Shubla! The alternative world versions. Because their base versions kinda suck. Well, they're 8 tier considered.
Also play Antiquity of Common Flowers for some reason, so that's a win, I guess. You unironically think that this
I guess I'll get rid of the battle axe. It's got 40 attack, but wow, look at that durability.
Marisa, you know how I feel about Mizuchi? Yeah, you know I do.
I've got other weapons to use that are better against guardians.
You got Mizuchi. Finally, so all those stereotypes is over. To those of you who actually enjoy this series, good. I like making this when I have nothing else to do and get stereotypes out to the world. If you have any other stereotypes that I've missed, please tell me. I have only one point of view, so I bet you have something juicy hidden within. Meantime,
hell yeah.
I will go play some Phantasmagoria. Bye bye. Watch the other 6 parts, by the way.
There's a chest here that should have respawned, right? Let me try getting it. Whole bunch of chests. Ah, I forgot. Those deal basically no damage. Ah, you're kidding me. Oh look, a chest key. I guess that wasn't all bad. I'd like a bow. You get bows. Okay, arrows, fine.
Involved. And in Season 2, we are making sure that we are matching people up according to a matchmaking MMR, so you should be able to enter the end cup and get stopped by like a 1400 MMR player, which did happen to some players in the first season, which is a little bit unfortunate
Whoa.
because one of the reasons why I hosted the Egg Cup is to try and lure people into competitive Advanced Wars. I want them to get a taste of their very first tournament. So if you've never played in a tournament before and you're like, oh, that sounds very scary, you definitely should sign up. It is a great way to get into competitive Advanced Wars, test your skills, and have some fun. That's what it's all about. And though this tournament doesn't in fact have a prize, check out the video for more information. So, people wanted me to host kind of like more varied matches in Season 2. I had a tendency to think about holding the high MMR matches in the first round, and people were like, can't you cast some new games, some mid-level games? That's exactly what I'm going to do. Today we're checking out sort of like a mid-level match around 1100 MMR. I'm actually checking out the game of one of the tournament organizers, one of my good friends, Subby. He has been helping a lot with the Egg Cup. I've been helping schedule matches. We obviously don't schedule our own matches, that goes without saying.
Lovely.
But he's been
I'll
helping
still
schedule
break
the
this
other matches, and he's been
axe.
very helpful. So I was like, you know what? Let's cast this game. It was actually a pretty good one. He's playing against a player known as Jimmy Jimbo. Never met this guy before, but his profile kind of makes me laugh. And yes, this is going to be like a mid-level match, 1100 MMR. That's kind of like you're good. You're no like pro player, but you're good at the game. And the game actually did end up being pretty exciting, so I'm looking forward to casting it. So the first round of the Egg Cup, and I will, by the way, as promised, I will be hosting a game from every round. So you know, if you want to get one of your games catched,
I have so many chest keys, you know, you may as well.
Chance I might host for you may also face against me as a player if you're on my MMR level, because I'm around 3 now, I believe. So yeah,
there we go. Speak of the
there's
devil.
still plenty of time to join. But yeah, the first round of the Egg Cup is being played on a map known as Mechanical.
Two of them, huh? And they're all both really good.
First, because I wanted the best map, the one that's most
Superior strength and long range.
Mechanical is a pretty fun map. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. When I
It's
looked
not
at it at
very
first glance, I was
fast.
like, man, this map looks kind of boring. You know, because it's kind of just a
But
very
damn, is it
average
quite
standard map, but
stacked.
it's actually a lot of fun to play because you have kind of like an HQ rush situations where you have a strong side and a weak side. You have 3 bases on your strong side and the airport on your weak side. So it will usually devolve into an HQ rush, but I actually found that it's a lot more common that there's going to be like a big battle in the center here. So what's actually going to happen is either red player will rush the HQ.
I kinda wanna get that tower done and dealt with as well.
That usually won't go too well for you
Why not?
because they have an initiative advantage.
Should I just make a run for it?
Either you'll go on the defense here.
I still have plenty of frogs.
Like crazy defense around my
It's not like
or
I am at
you have
any
sort
risk
like
of
a battle
losing,
in the middle here where both players actually
of
just ignore
wasting
each other
these,
going to the
so-
center, which is very exciting. You have these landers right here, which can be used to transport units down to your
Why
region,
not?
so you can defend it
Well,
properly.
actually I
You
could have
use
just
a lander to block your
taken one of these
HQ
horses,
actually,
but
this is a this lander,
it's way
how
more
you decide
convenient to
use
just
it is,
go
extremely
fast.
crucial. The comp towers to make the map a little bit less stalling. Just overall, the terrain on this map is well placed. I really like it. It also looks pretty, which is a nice little added bonus. So yeah, it's a great map. I understand why it's on very nice. Now, this matchup is not a very original one. It's a matchup as old as time itself. Jake versus Adder, the King 604 standard. There's no surprise that it's really makes me happy. We already developed it. We don't protest against the fun of the game. We get loud luck. We understand that some reasons. You gotta be allowed to have a little bit of fun in competitive Advanced Wars. Yeah, Jake versus Adder. It's a very classic matchup on the league. Happens all the time. Obviously, these COs need no introduction. They're both sort of like the top picks of Tier 4. Adder with his movement powers, Jake with his plane.
might be worth early.
Jake definitely has the advantage with his superpower. It's way stronger than Adder's, but Adder can pop that side slip often, and that makes it very, very scary. Now, I will say, like, out of these
Very
two
nice.
COs, looking at this map, you may think it's a Jake map because, you know, artillery very strong here behind the river, and lots of plane piles to take advantage of. But I would actually argue that Adder is the better choice here because battle filters are insanely good on this map. The mountains kind of make it, it's a lot of speed from the dark behind. Forest will slow down on there.
Oh my god, it's
And
that guy again.
Having battle filters on your weak side in particular to defend your HQ is extremely important. The fact that Adder gets that one movement just makes his battle filters so much better than Jake. So, on this map, at least my consensus is Adder is probably the top
What the-
one pick with Jake being a close second. But of course, if you want to be a Giga Chat, you should just pick Flank. But hey, not everyone can play that. Anyway, ladies and
Not
gentlemen,
bad, I
that's the
suppose.
introduction for now. I say we can game, shall we? So, Jimmy Jimbo versus Subby Adder up in the top right corner, playing as Black Hole.
You know what? I'll
Jimmy
try it.
Jimbo as Jake in the top left, bottom left corner, playing as Orange Star.
Next
Let
time I
us
come
get
across a
into
line, I'll
ladies
use
and
it.
gentlemen. So, how you use your lander early on is going to dictate a lot of this match playing out. One mistake that I did in one match that I definitely recommend most people not do is I didn't go for my airport early. I actually decided to go for my airport and grab these properties now. Don't do that. You want to grab your airport early from the time code. You want to get those battles yourself as soon as possible. Some of the other company I would like those properties get those battles. Get Empire instead of tanks and artillery. If you allow them to
Alright, love
straight
it.
with tanks and artillery, you're going to have trouble. Now you can see Jimmy Jimbo does indeed do this. He actually goes for his airport really early on. And Subby does decide to go for his airport too once he's counted his property. It doesn't skip. He just goes for it he just goes for it now, which is fine. Jimmy's of course going to get a little bit before Subby after that, which is an advantage. It's probably not going to be too big. But yeah, both players. It's good. Now, the properties. The capture phase of Botanical is not super complex. There's some things there's overall I'd say that most players are going to be playing it pretty similar. Something does open up a time though. Let's see if Jimmy decides to go a tank for about a as well. Somebody continues to camp a bunch of properties now using his
Isn't there like a memory around here? Maybe I should try getting it.
One thing you gotta be a bit careful, the clock towers are actually kind of exposed here. If you're not careful, you may get your
What the heck?
So, if we're going to try and get them sooner rather than later, if you put it off for too long, keep in mind your clock tower is on your weak side. So, your opponent can very easily take it away from you.
Why? It was working so fine.
It's on the second night. So far we're getting a very tank-oriented game. I've seen a lot of artillery openers on Botanical so far. Game. But looks like Subby is gonna move as aggressively.
Okay, you know what I think that was? I think that was Battle Track 2 playing.
Very happy to see that. That's great. Very, very good. Look at this battle yourself. Very good. Absolutely genius. Jimmy decided to get the battle conquer all to himself, as it's probably a good thing for Adder to match battle conquers against Jake because his battle conquers will be superior. Now Jimmy using his lander. There's some infantry over the HQ, and it seems like Subby's actually going to be on the offense right here. That's what it's looking like to me, because he's the one aggressively moving towards his opponent's HQ. Looks like he's definitely going to decide that he's going to take the battle. It's just, that's hard to do, unless you get some artillery to back you up. Jimmy does have a lot of infantry moving over here, so we might see a double front battle here, actually.
Gotta avoid that Lionel. Skella Lionel. Or actually, I could try fighting it with the axe. Do I dare? Yo! I mean, that was something I could have just bought, but it's still good. At least now I have 2 levels of cold resistance I can just wear. I doubt it's any good. Never mind. This is absolutely wicked. I don't need that anymore. Oh! Ah, the rain stopped. Oh! I don't feel like dealing with you. I'll go unlock that shrine some other time. Lovely. C'est magnifique.
He just wants to build bottom. No, he's just
Alright,
building
I'm gonna
bottom.
climb this
Okay.
tower, then I'm
No
gonna
empire for
go
Sabi.
try
He just
changing
decides
battle
to,
theme
make
too,
it
and
into
see
a
if that is the
battle
problem.
roll, which that's actually that might be a good idea. Jimmy moves forward, starts capping his comm tower now. Subby has not begun capping his comm tower yet, but he will start doing it next turn. Now Jimmy is moving his tank onto the road, which is a bit of an interesting move. Subby going and attack here, of course. There's battle focus in range, but yeah, okay, alright, interesting. I guess he feels confident that he'll be able to strike that even if Subby decides. It's not like Subby has much of a follow-up, so I guess it's not a bad idea. AH rolls in, now Subby decides to go for the comm tower, captures the two properties very close to the HQ. These properties, by
Yeah, I
the
just
way,
realized the
really
wrong
don't
song was
have-
playing.
This is your weak side, so you don't have a lot of map presence. You definitely don't want to overextend on Botanical. Don't cross the river, get your comm tower, and then be satisfied. Don't try to get these two properties as black, don't try to get these two properties as red. I wouldn't even interrupt here, honestly, because look here, Jimmy only has 3 infantry, Subby has like a wave of infantry coming here. You need to keep these 2 alive, so I'm wondering if Jimmy is going to be a max infantry move is just like definitely over here and attack, trying to choke, but I think that's probably a mistake in this situation. Subby gets a free pickup here, gets eating a free dude as it's called, and actually being very ballsy here, using his lander to transport his infantry forward. And also interrupting the comm tower. Yeah, Subby's going very hard in for the comm tower. This is a problem for Jimmy, because look at this. He might not actually get his comm tower. That's kind of scary. One thing though with Subby, he had a single anti-air in this region. Useless, so I do think maybe it's a bit of a mistake that Subby didn't go for an Anti-Air. I think instead of going for this
Wait,
battle
I already have a
I would
teleporter?
probably go for an Anti-Air here. Because with an Anti-Air, you make
Oh yeah,
battlecopters
I've been to...
useless around here. You only have Anti-Air and infantry, there's nothing for them to really strike. So we'll see what happens here.
Getting the shrines are...
But,
and
yeah,
towers
so
are still...
down south. I think he's gonna, oh
are
my
still
god,
good.
another battlecopter. He should spam in on battlecopters.
Alright, it did save, right?
In his own battlecopter's
Yes.
abilities
Alright,
to fight off the enemy
I just gotta
battlecopters,
check something
which
real
I
quick.
heard is not a terrible idea. Do you mean,
I mean, I am going to be handling the problem, but... may as well try to confirm the problem. Yeah! Song not playing correctly.
Transporting more infantry to the HQ, now strikes with the tank, placing himself in range of Subby's tank. This could be very scary if he doesn't do this properly, and he does indeed go for the interrupt. I'm not sure how
I could
smart
try
that is.
remerging first.
Really, yeah, both players kind of being very reckless with their infantry. I don't think this is a good play. You want to keep your infantry alive on your weak side. You want to take advantage of this HQ right here and keep them around this defensive perimeter. Now Jimmy, opens up our builds an artillery and an Anti-Air on day 9. That Anti-Air, depending on where he's going to send it, is going to be able to ward away some battlecopters. Day 9 rolls in. Subby retreats with his infantry and finds another
I'll do that
up with
first.
his battlecopter, and is also preventing Jimmy from taking this property. Very well played by Subby, using that battlecopter beautifully to not only eat up a free dude, but also getting denying a property, denying. He also takes the engagement with this battlecopter now, moving in with the tank. And again, this is very smart because keep in mind, this is Jimmy's weak side. He doesn't really want to take engagements on this side. He only really have his airport that can reliably reinforce. Of course, the Lander can carry ground units. It takes a little while for it to do that. Now Subby is going in hard on his opponent's weak side, really taking the battle to him. And I'm liking Subby's positioning in this particular match. I think very well. Even kind of beating him back on the weak side, which is kind of nice. Using this Lander to evacuate the 1 HP infantry, you love to see it. Save every unit you can. No unit should be wasted in advanced wars, ladies and gentlemen. Another battlecopter. Subby is just spamming battlecopters. If I was Jimmy now, I'd probably build like 2 Anti-Air. But yeah, he's moving forward, building more battlecopters. Ooh, gotta be careful here, Jimmy. You don't wanna put your battlecopters in range of even if you have that Anti-Air, man.
What if I actually just forgot to turn on the mini boss music option?
That he has right now. But I would be very careful
If
I were him.
battle music for Guardians still
That
isn't
side
fixed
slip
and
is
stuff,
coming up,
then
and that's one of the
yeah.
reasons why Adder is so scary in the early game. That side slip. Suddenly his battlecopters are in range. So Jimmy decides to take the aggression to Subby. He wants to go for that HQ. He has the artillery. It's if you want to attack the enemy's HQ, you need an artillery in your attack. Otherwise, it's going to be almost impossible to attack the HQ. And of course, he has very strong artillery. It's a bit of a shame not to build them if you're actually going to play as Jake. Otherwise, might as well just play as Adder. Goes for the interrupt here in the center, takes a bit of a shot at the battlecopter for that luck damage. Looks like he's not gonna get his com tower though. Might be able to take Subby's com tower, but Subby can interrupt that for a little while. So this is pretty good on his part. And in comes the side slip, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be very, very scary. Such a strong power. Subby comes in with his battlecopter. Boom! Tank rolls down, takes down a unit, there we go, gets a first strike on the battlecopter. This is beautifully played. Using that extra movement, my goodness, there's so much cool stuff Adder can do. Beautiful defense by Subby. He's playing really well. Look at how many extra engagement that extra movement allows him to take. Beautiful. Adder is, I really do think Adder is the strongest pick on this map, just looking at how devastating he is. The power comes in at the perfect time for that push. Now he's also threatening the com tower, and he also smart in here. I think he might actually be look at that. Might actually be able to get it. 2 com towers against his opponent. That could be very dangerous for Jimmy. Another battlecopter. How many battlecopters does Subby builds? Jimmy, you gotta get more Anti-Air out. You're getting slaughtered here. In comes the Antair. Now, of course, at this point, Subby's in a bit of a pickle. He only has a single tank here, and needs to bring this down. He has another tank, though, ready to load into this lander. This lander is in a bit of an unfortunate spot right now. He doesn't have quite the movement to show, which means that the tank is going to spend one turn, then another.
I forgot
turn.
about
Might
the
just
controller.
be better to move it manually down, honestly.
Okay,
Well,
it
let's
seems
see
to
if
be
Jimmy's
dead.
attack can do something here. He's bringing up his artillery. He's now threatening the com tower, bringing his Antair into the lander, and ups the speed.
Music for field bosses is ticked this time.
Huh? Is that a misclick? Oh no! Oh no! What was that? Did he think that the beatdown would let him interrupt the com tower? Is that why he popped it? Okay, so tank versus infantry. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I think maybe if Subby hadn't had his power active, then the beat. But even if he kills this infantry, he's not gonna be able to. This must have been a misclick. Must have misclicked. Either it's a misclick or he wants the 10% defense for the next turn. But yeah, this beatdown doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. That is, I think that's just actually just a misclick. Now Subby gets the other com tower. Brings in his tank, just places it in artillery range. He doesn't care, he just wants to kill that Antair. Yeah, you gotta guard that Antair. That Antair is your lifeline. You know how fond Subby is of spamming battle. Oh my god, this is a slaughter. Oh my goodness. This is hard to watch. Antair goes down, and let me get, yeah, another battlecopter. How many battlecopters down? 7? 8? Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is, Jimmy is now trying his best to attack, but Subby is actually kind of repelling the attack due to how many battlecopters, and there's no Antair in sight. There's no Antair in sight for Jimmy. Poor little Jimmy. He's gonna... Not our precious Jimmy! Stealing them blind. Sorry. Couldn't help it. Yeah, okay, alright. 2 Antair. He needs Antair. Should have built a lot more Antair and kept the ones he had available. But despite everything, they are actually still kind of equal in unit value. Although Subby has a big unit lead. And a far superior positioning and 2 com towers, which is a pretty big deal. But he's got to be a bit careful here. Jimmy does have a force heading towards his HQ, of course, until Antair arrives. Oh no! That artillery was his whole lifeline. Without it, the attack is pointless. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Molested by battlecopters. Those battlecopters are wrecking havoc on poor little Jimmy. Look at that. He's got so many it's like mosquitoes swarming you. And there's no mosquito repellent at all. It's like when I'm up at the cabin and there's just been a rainfall. And the mosquito, yeah, he's dead. Wow. Oh my goodness, that was hard to watch. So yeah. Death by battlecopter. quadcopter. That's the theme of this round. Beautifully played by Subby. Very beautifully played. He played really well. I think he's a little bit he's underrated in terms of rating. I think Subby plays on the level of a 1200, honestly. So that was a very cool match, very aggressive match. I think showcasing why Adder is ridiculously strong on this map. Really, he's incredibly good. The battlecopters are just so strong, and
Nine years ago, damn. Primero de Dios todo la gloria y tengo la fe su cara hasta el diferente, diferente, esto ligero, este modo diferente, bastante ligera, adelante, diferente. Diferente, bastante ligero, es un modo diferente, bastante ligera, adelante, diferente, bastante ligera, aduamo, imparando más, There we go. Yes! Oh god. Hey, I just realized that I picked the wrong song, but this is good because not only is this my favorite battle song, it's actually also working properly. Hell yeah. Now I might as well try running my way to this tower. I can do it. Hello. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the reduced durability it's taking. Oh wow, the durability is now only doubled instead of. Should have healed myself back to full. Yep. Stupid. This is stupid. You know what? Bam. 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 Right. Now, what's up with that durability? It's quite good. There's a shrine or two in here, may as well try getting them. Although it's quite dangerous to get to. Why? Of course. Fighting you guys in the rain is the worst. Nice. Frick, I forgot you guys don't have 2 HP. I'm in bad need of some new weapons, and you just so happen to be here and capable of providing them. So, don't mind if I do. That was pretty stupid. I'm playing like I'm playing Brawlhalla now. Yo, I've got max teleporters. Should I just teleport? It'd kind of be a waste to not use these. Yeah, fine, I'll just teleport. There are some battle musics that are unchanged with this mod. It'd be great if they could get changed. The dungeon music, specifically, seems to be the shrines and the divine beasts.
And like Christmas. Yeah, and my family got me, they said, oh, we got it for you, and they got me like the Sonic cartoon DVD collection. They had the word director's cut in it. And like as a kid, I was mad. I was like, what the fuck, you like, they're like, what do you mean? You can, it says director's cut on it. But then I realized, yeah, why the hell does this have Sonic Adventure? Yeah, I really like the Dreamcast. This is a GameCube port. What is how it's made for the game's own part? Yeah. Yeah, no, he's a hard to beat, man. I get it. Yeah, no, you know, they say the first one's always the hardest. Yeah, it's the most. I think you just get it right now, you know? No, I'm scared. No, just don't. It's not a convention. Just jump into A button. Yeah, just do it again now. I think it's the cycle. Yeah, I missed the cycle. I honestly, where thing happened though, I feel like this thing we did like. I remember I asked my mom to she go to the Blockbuster essentially. Yeah. And I asked her if she could rent
Nice.
And essentially, Rockman Party 1. And make Mario Party 3, goddammit. Yeah, I mean, I feel like also at the time, like, there was even going to be a second Mario Party. Yeah, like, Mario Party new. At that point, they would have made it just like Mario Party 1 the dice block. Yeah, I guess, but like, just more marketing for Nintendo, honestly. So, I'm gonna get do this speed run right now. I know it doesn't look like it. This is the first run. Okay. Well, after you played Essay 1, decide why is something I just typed like I tried out for this game last year. I got pretty much done with everything. You know what?
Alright, I was just gonna teleport. Let's see what I can buy at Akala.
Okay. This game's awesome. Yeah, this is certainly the director's cut. All I'm gonna say is I played this game last year, like last summer. I got like all the Sonic mini games. Yeah. It's Sonic Adventure DX for the GameCube. If you unlock all the emblems and stuff, you get all the 20 emblems. You get like all the like random. You get Sonic Fit, or you get Sonic 1. Sonic
Let's see if I can get 1,000 rupees.
Like, Mr. Eggman, Mr. Beat Machine, I think. Like you just get all the random.
Hopefully it doesn't become thunderstorm.
Beat the game, and then I have all these other Sonic games called after like emulate or anything. Easy. Yeah. I got 115 of the 120 emblems. All I had to do was the Chow Racing and like I was grinding Chows like every day for like a week. And then I realized that the Steam version doesn't have those mini games on there. That's strictly on the GameCube. Oh, that's a problem. Yeah, man. So how far you get? Oh, just no. I beat the entire game. Like I did all the bullshit missions. Like I got S tier and everything. Or you did S tier super free in this game.
I could try getting the ancient shield.
It's a lot of, like,
That might be good.
Yeah, I have a stream.
Whoa, look at this blade saw.
Dude, I'm still warm in Sonic Adventure 2. Like, this game is
It's technically the same, I just realized. In the base game it's also 50, but it also has the most durability in the game. The most durable Claymore, at least. Oh, and the spear is pretty OP. It's giant ancient cores to get these, and they're so expensive. But damn, they're way worth it though. Alright, so let's see how much money we can get. Ouch. Nice, I got another battery.
Yeah, so what was it saying? Stream idea, you're in Green Hill Zone. If you get all the emblems in Sonic Adventure games, fuck. Yeah, this is the Sonic Adventure game work. Yeah, for Sonic Adventure work. I have just heard that this word is just terrible. Oh, that's awesome. This game word specifically, like, it just doesn't know, like, they whoever for this fucked up their job really bad. Which I think is hilarious. I believe there's a visible wall right there. Got it. So I'm sick. Oh, get in there, Tails. Get in there. Close. Close, but no cigar. Pretty sure I can't just make that. But yeah, are you just trying to look for the implements like in the sewers? No.
Oh, it's a 4 out of 7.
That like over here. Yeah. Why do I have that?
Well,
like a power up. Yeah, there's a power
the
up.
carrots are also 4 out of 7.
The badge. A second, he's tired. Yeah, there it is. So the camera controls here, you're very creative. I gotta be straight with you. As a consumer,
reasons. I genuinely do not understand why the fuck Sonic Team does not want to make it Adventure 3 or like even like a Sonic Heroes. Like people just want to play as all characters, you know? Yeah, like that's it.
The thing is, I'm sure that Sonic Team in general wants to. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's probably just like one like. It's probably like
Mr.
people-
Sonic.
Yeah, but like. It's probably Mr. Sega, honestly. Like, cause I know the Sonic Team fucking loves Sonic. But
Yeah.
I feel like you have to love Sonic.
I think like even
you
Sonic 06 though, right? Like they had Shadow and Silver.
Yeah. And then Silver is not been in a goddamn. Like he's in a cameo and shit. Like he's like at Mario or he's at Sonic's birthday party and shit. Like Generations. Dude, that guy was like 10 years old now, 12 years old. Just fuck.
But oh yeah, but my stream idea, I want to get all under 80 envelopes. That includes like Chow Karate and all that. But it's like a minor.
There's definitely
Yeah.
value in
Dude, that'll take a while.
Yeah.
making creative dishes now,
I got a mod
specifically for healing,
helpful.
since there are no yellow hearts anymore.
In most missions, it's like have to get a fast enough time to get an escape. On most missions, it's score based.
Oh.
And you don't really know what the score is unless you look at a guide. But there's a mod that just shows you what you need to hit before the mission starts, and I think that's mad helpful.
Oh, that's sick.
Actually, yeah, so I found a
Ah,
mod
there you
for
are.
that, and that sounds like it's gonna make it all possible. 'Cause it's not like any actual gameplay mods or anything, it's just simply just tells you the score you can get.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Sonic Adventure 2.
Right,
is
let's
the
just
one that
sell
I
willy-nilly and see how
I
far
wanna
we
see
can
the
get.
final level, but I think I'll just spot it in just because I don't have the patience for that. For all the
You play yourself like I loved Sonic Adventure 2 as a kid, and I always looked at Green Hill, but I was never able to get it myself. I got close. I think as a kid, I got all the envelopes except like Racing Chow Karate.
see.
Yeah, I watched 100% speedrun, and like the last, a majority of the runs is just Chow.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I guess the nice thing about Sonic Adventure 2 is like you can there's the challenge right?
Oh, they sell for even less money.
In this game, if you want to level up your challenge, you have to use the animals. It's just usually it's like, oh, plus 3 speed, minus 1 jump. So it's just like it's super tedious. But in SAQ, it's just like, oh, you just go red drive, his power goes up. Nothing else. You can do them like that game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you can.
You can do this game, I think, technically.
I wouldn't know.
Like, I can't remember.
What is interesting in Sonic Adventure 2 is also the 100% speedrun have like some modes in it. Because like
A flute thing, I guess? Or...
no, like actual like wrong forms.
Oh.
Because getting like the S rank
I believe there's
mechanics
not
for, like,
really a
Final
real
Showdown
reason for me to be keeping these, so
it's just pretty hard.
I'll pawn them off to Beetle. It's his problem now.
But I don't remember exactly what it is, but I know it's like has something to do with
I'll
the
keep some of these in case I run out of cooking materials, though.
Oh, where you're chasing down Mr. President? That's
Yeah, for some reason, if you go through Cannon's Core and like die and then go back to the car mission and then beat it, it just basically unloads the final Sonic section in Cannon's Core. Yeah, so you're on insane time, and you just pull like those 300-400 rings you had, and so it's just, you just have to beat the standard Sonic part damage list. And it's like, I think it also gives you, like, you restart, it just starts you from that level, like, it's crazy.
really crazy. That is kind of...
Yeah, I think it's a really funny skip. If I were at 100%, I would just make sure I know how to do that. That sounds fair.
Yeah, that also just sounds like time restraint content as well.
Yeah, because people love when you pull shit like that off. Because, you know, when you're a speedrunner, everyone in your chat is expecting it.
Yeah. I like, also, like, just, like... I know that, like,
It's also very much
and
worth
stuff,
selling
like,
these
yeah,
since
but, like,
you get so many of them.
I also just like,
And I don't really need them right now. I'll get more of them in the future, so you know, when I do need them. But for now, you don't need them, so why not sell them? The fire choo-choo is nice for lighting up fires and not wasting durability, because using flint to light up a fire will use up the durability of the metal weapon you use, but with a red choo-choo jelly, it doesn't use up any. Although preferably you'd want to like spend.
Oh yeah. There's. I mean, one of my favorite things about this game too is like it is player if you're playing as Sonic.
You'd preferably spend a spear to use it, so you don't take damage from the fire explosion.
You always because he never. If he came over, he'd only bring Sonic Adventure 1 because he didn't want to risk like breaking his SAQ disc, which I understood. Also, the Blockbuster in my house, or like near my house at that point, didn't have SAQ, they only had SA1. So like that's the reason why this is why I always play. But we'd always play this one also together just because like if we can do two-player, you can do Tails and be Sonic. You don't really do much, just like playing kids Tails and like Sonic 2 or just with that rubber band in your seat. He's beating hand. That chop is a little blurred. Why is he showing up? Oh, he's there. Beat her ass Sonic. I don't know, I love this one. Like, I get that it's really funny. It's really fucked up.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like,
Before I go.
What I'm looking for, like, if you go entirely I can skip every single cutscene. Like, I don't know how to describe it, like the engine is so, it's so slippery, but it's like, bad, like, okay, it is bad, like, here's what it's very bad. I understand, right, like, I understand that this, a lot of shit like that is all that, how the fuck was I supposed to know? And you can even call that, like, bad game design, but I think my favorite game design is the shit where it's like, oh, I just know I'm supposed to do this, therefore it's good. Yeah, you know, like, I think a lot of Pokemon runs under that philosophy, you know? Yeah, because that's the exact reason why I hate a lot of Pokemon. Yeah, you know, I was like, how the fuck am I supposed to know this?
I wanted to buy some Lionel weapons from you.
Like, I talked about this before, but like, remember it's like, you know, I'm a fire type Pokemon versus a fire steel Pokemon type, but Pokemon, like, times 4 efficacy, times 2, times 1. Types are hard for people, I feel like, just getting. Yeah. How do you Sonic? Sometimes they're confusing, and then just like, the abilities and shit. Well, not abilities, but what are they, like, natures? Wait, what are they called? Natures? Yeah. Like that shit, I'm like, I get it. It makes sense, but I can't think about it in a game like it. See, like, you have so much speed. Yeah. You're like, why the fuck do you have so much speed?
Maybe I should go get the Crusher.
I just think it's funny that, like, Sonic went so hard on his race, and I just jumped over all the bullshit.
Why not?
Yeah. Like, that's actually just, it's good design. Like, you just get to go fast. It's a Sonic game where you play throughout people. Okay, I think we can take after this, I think. Oh, we do. Because it's... Okay, so here's good. There's Green the Rabbit. Yo, Green! No reason whatsoever. Yeah, she doesn't really do much. Oh, dude, we need to play the GBA Sonic games. Oh, dude, I want to play Sonic Battle Map. I've been wanting to, like, play them for so long. Oh, I've never played those ones. I have the, Advance. Yeah, it's Sonic Advance, like... I'm surprised those never got remastered or anything, right? Yeah. No, that honestly doesn't...
I'd still like another sword.
Yeah. It's like, it's in the Sonic that's State Free territory where I just Sega is one of these companies that I just don't understand them. I really just don't get them. Yeah. Like, at the very least, Nintendo, they just built their same products. They put Super Mario Brothers 3 on like 30 different consoles. You know, like, thank God for that. You know, I'm gonna make fun of them for it, I'm gonna make fun of them pay for it. Like, I'm happy that they do this still. I wish that, like, I could make fun of, like, Sonic games for every time. I think Sonic's, like, dude, I punch your just not it for me. I want that. I still haven't really touched it. I just, like, dude, I just want to play as the silly guys together. They're like, Sonic's all about the game for me. Yeah, the bullies thing. Yeah. So, dude, Sonic Heroes, I love Sonic Heroes. I get that as bad. Love Sonic Heroes. Yeah, I do that and good. Like, I just love the big garbage, like, that's three of my favorite characters.
What?
Like, I love the big, I just love this one. So much fun. Just the 40 Sonic is just talking such shit right now. Because Sonic's the biggest piece of shit. And he never says shit whenever you pass him. Oh, he just passes you. See you later, Tails. Alright, Tails. I don't know. I hate when Sonic loves doing this shit. They're like, no, you can't see it in front of you, and you have nowhere for the time your jump. Yeah. There's nothing in that way to like, okay, this is where Sonic 06 comes up. Because Sonic 06 also does that, but for this level, like, I can see the
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Fuck that one Sonic 06 level. Fire City level? Yes. Yeah. No, like, halfway through, I don't know what I think Crisis City, Crisis City, yeah.
Yes, very good, very worth it.
After watching, like, I think it's Shadow. I think it is Shadow. It is Shadow, yeah. Shadow feels like the most half-baked story. Oh, what? Yeah, because I think Shadow was the only one I remember. Yeah, it's like, the Sonic 06 has these equals with Crisis. Sonic runs fast. Super same concept. But it's like, I just like, it's very consistent. Sometimes you hit a wall and just trains. Sometimes you hit a wall and Sonic just beats shit. In Sonic 06, like, really annoying because you die 5 times, you hang over, and you have to rewatch all the times you flip the screen for a long. But for some reason, that level, like, they fire tornadoes and boxes at you that you can't see at all, and it's just RNG. Oh, I was doing it before the game. But okay, so here's the thing. There is a video on the wall titled Alfred Screaming, and it is just me trying to navigate through that goddamn part of the game. So yeah, I feel yeah, okay. So is it the same level then? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was thinking when they were level 1 now, and now like you fucked that level before. Yes, okay, yeah. Like, that's just the thing. It's like, what's not those things?
I think that should have been the second phase. I don't like Child's boss theme. Both phases, I think, are pretty mid. It doesn't help that he's incredibly boring and easy to beat.
But yeah, they're like some fixes are like they fix a lot of like mechanics, they fix the loading screens, like that's just Sonic fans. Like if you're like
I could have just teleported, honestly.
oh, that's for sure.
At relatively no consequence. Oh well.
Yeah.
Another one? Oh my. Alright, stay here, Bochi. It feels so great that she still hasn't died.
Oh, I think you're right. Oh, this cutscene is great. Yeah, I want to watch this cutscene. Phenomenal. Exactly. This much. This light. Yo, the flip. Oh no, I like the teleportation number in the corner. Yeah. Oh. What an awesome part of the game. Oh, that was Chaos 4. God. This game is such dog shit. I love it so much. I do like how there's like 4 shapes chart. Yeah. They're all so different. Like, Chaos 6 was fucking stupid. Chaos 6 is my favorite one. He just brings it down frog. Yeah.
There's this guy that sells beetles and stuff, right? Maybe I should go seek him out.
I don't know if I like Bing or not. I love Bing, like, Bing over the internet. Yeah, but and then I realized, like, oh, like, Bing the Cat is actually the full YouTube. I was about to say, but I didn't know I was brave enough, so I'll say it, dude. Yeah. I have nothing to look for, like, or, like, I've said worse things on the internet. I think that's, like, not that hot of a take. But, like, I don't know what it is. I will say, like, I get Bing the Cat enjoyers, kind of, because, like, I mean, I like Bing. He's like, he has some personality, you know, he's one that you can't drown. Just give me
Oh, I just remembered.
But like, I don't think you can on here. I think if you stand there too long, you just drown.
So can somebody tell me in the comments, if you're playing Sonic, Mario and Sonic the Olympic Games, does Tails wear the life vest?
Oh, does he wear the life vest?
So Sonic wears a life vest.
Oh, that's
for the
funny.
levels.
That's funny as hell.
It's
What the fuck? Oh, dude. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, I mean, we're fine. But it's just like, oh.
He's the Yori that was brainwashing Tsubaki. Remember how Terumi was being forced to fight for the heroes during the Dark War because Nine put a spell on him? Saya had done the exact same thing to Tsubaki, but thanks to her friend, she was able to break free of her control. But then there's the matter of the giant muscle man that was rampaging in the stadium. Azrael jumps in and starts going for Ragna, and for a moment it looks like Ragna is about to lose control of the Azure Grimoire. But he's able to pull through it, making his allies think that maybe he can control this power after all. Kagura then comes in and he goes a few rounds with Azrael, but once he realizes the spell that Azrael is under, he simply refuses to fight. This causes Azrael to lose all of his powers and he can no longer fight anymore, and Kokonoe is now able to teleport him away. So, things are starting to move along, but before our heroes can take the fight to Saya and Terumi, they have to get Ragna in fighting shape.
So there you call me
So
short.
Rachel takes Ragna, Celica, and Noelle to the destroyed cauldron of Ibukido. In other words, where Noelle was created.
Dang it.
Using a whole bunch of crazy magical stuff that I won't get into, Rachel and Celica are able to send Ragna back in time. Now, hey, remember way back in the prologue when I mentioned that Celica 100 years ago found an injured man named Blood Edge who she healed back to life? Yep, that was Ragna. Ragna got sent 100 years into the past where he lost his memories. He only remembered that he was called Blood Edge, but he still felt something towards Celica and he knew he had to help her. So he escorted Celica on her quest to find her father, and her sister Nine and Trinity and a young Jubei, and eventually they all found Kushinada's linchpin. But upon finding it, they learned that Celica would die if she activated it. Upon hearing this, Ragna regained all of his memories and he couldn't let Celica sacrifice herself. So he told them that he had a way to stop the Black Beast for 1 year. And in that year, they had to find a way to stop the Black Beast that didn't involve killing Celica. So Ragna confronted the Black Beast, was absorbed into it, and it turns out that ingesting yourself isn't that good for you because it caused the beast to shut down for an entire year, and you all know what happened from there. So, Ragna died in the past? Yes. And also no. Because in the present, Noelle was able to use the Eye of the Azure to observe Ragna still being alive without him back. Now, you might be thinking, wait, so if you're an observer, then you can resurrect the dead? Well, if you have God-level observer powers, then sure, you can reshape all of reality. But nobody in our cast of characters has that level of power just yet. The reason why Noelle was able to bring Ragna back was because even though he spent days in the past, in our time, he was only gone for a second. So basically, she didn't really bring him back to life, he just disappeared and then she observed a reality where he was still there. Which also explains why he still has the code and sword with him despite handing him off to Celica in the past. But when Ragna came back, he returned with his memories of the past, and upon realizing that Celica would have to sacrifice herself, he realizes he has to protect her. And not just her, but everyone else. Yeah, again, I'm skipping over all the character interaction stuff. During the course of this game, Celica and Ragna started getting really close with each other, and realizing that he has to protect her, that's what clears up the emotional fog that's been plaguing Ragna throughout this entire game. So now, Ragna was finally ready to fight again, and he wasn't the only one. You might have been thinking to yourself, hey, there's some other characters who we haven't talked about in a while.
This shield actually had good durability.
Because as all
Dang
of this
it,
was
now I just
happening,
feel like an idiot.
the 6 heroes were reuniting with a plan to take down Terumi. Ackerman, Valkenheim, Jubei, and Platinum, now with Trinity in control, all teamed up at Rachel's Manor, and after training up with Celica and got some emotional closure,
I knew that was a talisman!
Trinity's
I was
Mystic Torch, which enhances her
like, was it actually a talisman?
separated Hazma and Terumi. They needed to do this because if they just destroyed Hazma, then Terumi would still survive in its spirit form. They had to turn Terumi's spirit body into a solid form and then destroy it.
Okay
It
then.
looked like they succeeded, however, Trinity was injured as a result. But in the process of all this, the heroes came face to face with Phantom. Yeah, remember the magical puppet that Terumi and Relius were carrying around? Well, the heroes confronted it, and learning that the puppet was actually Nine. Terumi had fished her out of the boundary and then had Relius turn her into a puppet. Now, back to Ragna, he's confronted Kokonoe and is angry that she was actually willing to sacrifice Celica to use the linchpin. At which point, Rachel appears and tells them that there is actually another way to activate it. Yes, the machine does need a soul, but there's another soul out there that can sync up with the linchpin, and that soul belongs to someone who was already dead, and they had stored their soul inside of a Nox Victoris just for this exact occasion. What was this Nox Victoris, and where did they find it? I mean, all we know is that it's shaped like a giant nail, and who has a Nox Victoris shaped like a giant... Oh. Yes, when Tinjo entrusted the giant nail Ratinjo the Bang and told him that it was the spirit of Ikarga, turns out that was literal. The nail housed Tinjo's soul inside because they realized it might be needed for this exact occasion. So Ragna, Selga, and Noel head off to the bank where Kagura told them to wait.
Okay, it's not too late. I'm just gonna give up. I was tempted by riches.
Bang to take the nail to Kushinada's linchpin, but he didn't know that the nail would work on Kushinada's linchpin. He knew that the nail would be needed to make Kushinada's linchpin work, but they thought they also needed Selga's soul. He didn't know that there was already a soul also inside the nail that would also work. Do you see what I mean when I say everything BlazBlue has way too many steps to it? Ragnar confronts Bang, and after a quick scuffle, they reveal that the Ratinjo is the key to saving the world. He just has to drive it into the linchpin. Bang doesn't quite understand, but he agrees to go along with it, trusting in what his allies have told him, only for them to be interrupted by Aurelius Clover with Lychee backing him up. So that situation gets bad quick, and it isn't looking much better for the other heroes. Kagura, Jin, Hibiki, Kagura's assistant who's been here the entire time, but I couldn't find a good spot to introduce him into the summary, and Homura are confronted by Saya, who quickly beats them. But when she sees Homura, she realizes, oh, you're the kid of Tinjo! Wait, so you were planning on overthrowing me and putting Homura in charge? Well, you know what? I'm feeling generous today. So Saya broadcasts herself to the entire world and tells them, listen, I'm stepping down as the head of the NOL, and I'm handing my position over to Homura. You all think that this will lead to a perfect world? That's great. I think you humans are just wonderful with your little goals and your dreams and whatnot. So go make your little utopia, and I'll give you my parting gift. Death. Okay. Time to finally explain who, or more accurately, what, Saya is. Saya is just the outer shell of this creature. On the inside, she is actually the god of death, Hades Izanami. You see, when the Takamagahara unit freed Yuki Terumi, they believed he could help them bring about Doomsday, a prophesized day in which the god of death would be able to kill the master unit. Now, Terumi was on board with this, except for the part about having to work for the Takamagahara system, but he already took care of that. So, in order for this to happen, they would have to create a vessel that the god of death could inhabit. Aurelius Clover attempted to create such a body with an early Morokumo unit, however, it didn't work. But something else surprising happened. The Morokumo unit he created had 3 children. Yes, apparently Morokumo units can have children, but the process by which it's possible is really weird and even I don't fully understand it. The important thing is, it happened. And as you can probably guess, these 3 children were Ragna, Jin, and Saya. And even though Jubei rescued them and took them to safety, Terumi found them and realized that the 1-in-a-million offspring of the Morokumo unit could be just what they needed. So he kidnapped Saya for this experiment and gave Jin the sword that he could use to burn the home down and cut his brother's arm off and kill Celica. Because Terumi didn't have a body just yet, so he needed something to keep him in this world. Something permanent that would always be there. And that thing was a grudge. He stole Saya to be the body for Izanami and then made Jin attack Ragna so that way Ragna would keep Terumi in his mind 24/7. Or Terumi would keep living in his world. That's right, Terumi did all those horrible things to Ragna so that way he could literally live rent-free in his mind. And so, Terumi and Aurelius used Saya to be a vessel for Izanami. And then they used their own influence as well as some help from the Takamagahara system to manipulate things, and Izanami to rise in the ranks until they became the head of the NOL. And in addition to that, they also realized that if Saya's body was perfect for housing this god, it must be the peak design for Morokumo units. So they would base all future Morokumo units on her, which is why Noel, New, and Lambda all look like Saya. And after Jubei told Ragna that the NOL was making robot versions of his sister in the cauldrons, that's when Ragna decided to suit up and go out and destroy all the cauldrons. Also, because the cauldrons were going to be used for something else. You see, I mentioned that the NOL had bases all around the world, and each of these bases had cauldrons inside them, and cauldrons made more Akuma units, but as we saw with no one got turned into neutral in the last game, these cauldrons can also absorb souls. So putting all these cauldrons around the world was all for this day, when Izanami would have the cauldrons activate and absorb the soul of everyone around the world. Bringing all these souls to a focal point, creating a large swirling mass of energy called the embryo. What was the embryo going to do? A whole bunch of complicated stuff that I'm not going to get into here, but the important thing is it would summon the Master Unit out of the boundary and into this world where it could be killed. Oh, and to make matters worse, remember the giant monster in the satellite in space, Taki Mizuchi? Yeah, Izanami called the satellite down, crashing it into the Earth, and now Taki Mizuchi is here and ready to start destroying anyone that tries to stop her plans. So, okay, Izanami, god of death, sucking up the souls of everyone on Earth. The Master Unit, here in our reality, ready to be killed. Taki Mizuchi, down on Earth, stopping anyone from getting close to Izanami. The only way to stop all of this was to shove the Rotenjo nail into the linchpin, then for Koganoi to teleport the linchpin right to where Izanami was. Problem is, Relius and Lychee aren't letting our heroes anywhere near the linchpin. But then, the cavalry finally arrives. Someone appears to help turn the tide of battle. It's Carl.
What?
Yes, Fang had been a friend to Carl when no one else would, and he provided Carl with support and encouragement when he needed it most, acting almost as a mentor to him. And now, when Fang needed help, he arrived to, oh, wait, no, he's actually joining the villains. Yeah, Carl betrayed Fang's trust in this side story to Relius, so that way he can help teach him how to turn his sister back to normal, and to protect Lychee, who reminded him of his sister. So yeah, things just became even worse for the good guys. But then Makoto and Tsubaki arrive, allowing Ragna, Noel, and Saga to head off to face Izanami and the Taki Mizuchi. Fang, Tsubaki, and Makoto face off with Relius, Carl, and Lychee, but they're at a standstill. Neither side is giving an inch, and time is running out. Fang has to activate the linchpin now, or else all is lost. It looks truly hopeless for our heroes, but then Falkenhayn jumps in to hold off Relius, allowing Fang to jump on top of the linchpin just before
This would have been good a while back,
away.
but now it's
At
just
that
kinda
moment,
useless.
Fang puts everything he has into hammering the nail directly into the linchpin. And Fang, the guy who has largely been treated as a joke throughout this entire series, ends up saving the day.
Master, grant me this boon. Let my request be met with favor. Master, let my spirit reach you. Allow the justice. Phoenix!
Well, almost. This is able to stop the cauldrons from sucking up everyone's souls,
not
but
bad.
there's still the matter of the Master Unit here in our reality.
Better than the
killed
Guardian
and the
Sword that I
giant
have, at
kaiju
least.
that's rampaging around. Ragna, Jin, and Noel team up, and they're able to stop the Taki Mizuchi, though. Then Rachel jumps in and once again summons the giant shield Tsukuyomi to save the Master Unit. Again, I'd like to remind everyone, yes, there's about 10 other things going on right now that involve many other characters, but we're skipping all of that in order to keep this as simple as possible. Ragna, Jin, and Noel then move on to finally face Izanami. Only for Izanami to then cause the Black Beast to awaken inside of Ragna. So, in the twilight moments of this crisis, Ragna is overcome by the Black Beast, and Jin and Noel have to stop him, or else all is lost. This is lining up to be the most dramatic battle in the entire franchise. Cut to the dramatic battle now. Yeah, you don't actually get to see any of that fight. Instead, we cut to after the battle, where Izanami has escaped. No one can use Ars Magus anymore because all the Seether is gone, except of course for a handful of lucky people who apparently were just chosen by the Azure to still wield their powers. Translation, all the characters that you can play as in the game.
Okay.
So the world is kind of in disarray, and speaking of disarray, Jin was smacked around so badly by the Black Beast Ragna that he's now bedridden and he may never wake up again. And Ragna? Well, Ragna wakes up in a vast wasteland, looks up and sees the giant embryo that Izanami was creating out of all his souls still just hanging up there in the air, and Ragna has no memory of who he is. And that is Chrono Phantasma. Easily the biggest story so far in these games, but thankfully we finally start to explain all that stuff that I've been putting off for later. Which means we only have one more game to go, the epic finale,
That felt like a panic
and
blood
things
mood.
are about to get even weirder. Now before we get into the final game, Central Fiction, I just want to remind everyone that these are fighting games.
Again, punitive blood moon turned a thing
Well,
anyway.
hard
At
to
least
remember that when hour 2 of a story recap is on the horizon. This does mean that some stuff might happen in the story that makes you think, why on earth would you do that? But it's all to justify how these games can keep every character from the previous games coming back to the roster. And hey, the fact that these games kept every single character coming back for every single game is one of the best things about BlazBlue. From a fighting game perspective. From a story perspective, it's one of the worst things because it leads to just some really bizarre justifications for how characters can still be here or what decisions characters end up making.
okay, I don't think
So
this is
alright,
working.
final game, Central Fiction. Here we go. Ragna the Blood Edge, missing him without his memories. Jin, finally woken up but he's injured and unable to walk anymore. Noelle. Actually, Noelle's doing okay.
Bruh.
Oh no way, she actually lost all her powers and she has no memory of how that happened. Ah, yeah. Just a big day for taking L's, isn't it? Jin doesn't want to accept what's happened to him. He says he still must kill Ragna before he can die, which causes Tsubaki, who again is in love with Jin and 100% loyal to him, to set out on her own quest to kill Ragna. But then Jin is visited by the spirit of Trinity Glassfield. Yeah, after her run-in with Hosma and Terry in the last game, and yes, we do need to start referring to them as separate people now, Trinity was separated from Platinum. So here's the thing. Platinum was a body that Trinity created to house the souls of Luna and Cinna while keeping her own body in the Nox Victoris in order to stabilize that body. But now that Trinity had been separated from her Nox Victoris, Luna and Cinna were fading away. So Trinity offered Jin a deal. She would heal his body, and in exchange, he would carry her soul in his sword until they were able to find Platinum and reunite them. Trinity warns him though that if she does this, he would only be healed temporarily. By the time the healing powers wore off, he would die. Jin doesn't care about any of that though, he just has one question. If I take this deal, would I be able to kill Ragna? And she says, sure, I don't see why not. And he says, that's all I need to hear, deal. So, while Jin was heading out to face Ragna again, all the other heroes were assembling to discuss how to stop Izanami. This is certainly setting up to be an exciting final showdown, right? Well, remember how Izanami had gathered all of the souls together and they were just floating up there menacingly? Well, that was all she needed for her final plan, because just as the heroes had assembled again, Izanami used the power of the embryo to create a time loop. Yes, Izanami sucked everyone into the embryo, and next thing you know, Ragna is waking up on his way to the hierarchical city of Kagetsuchi. He still has no memories of who he is though, but everyone keeps telling him that he's supposed to go to Kagetsuchi and destroy the cauldron, so he just kind of goes along with it for now. And so, he goes to Kagetsuchi, he buys Talkaka food, he fights Arachne, fights Carl, it's all the greatest hits. And nobody has any idea that they're stuck in a time loop. Except for Jin, who remembers everything because he has the power of order. In fact, I'll jump ahead a bit here now and say, Jin is able to find Platinum, and he is able to use the power of order to keep them from fading away like Marty McFly. How does the power of order keep them from fading away? Good question. Yeah, listen, there's a lot in BlazBlue that isn't properly explained, and the power of order is at the top of that list. It's basically a Deus Ex Machina ability that lets people do whatever the writer needs them to do in that moment, but essentially it allows him to observe them back into existence. I'll just go ahead and leave it at that because observing is the end-all be-all ability in this franchise, and I guess the power of order gives him that now too. So everyone is living their lives in the first game again, with some small changes here and there, but as Ragna is making his way to the cauldron, he's starting to remember his past. And what he can't remember, everyone is more than happy to remind him of. They tell him about the cauldrons that he's destroyed, about the cities that were wrecked because of this, and the hundreds upon hundreds of NOL soldiers that Ragna killed in cold blood. Yeah, this was actually kind of a shocking moment when I played through it because, okay, his name is Ragna the Blood Edge. That sounds pretty edgy, and I knew he had a massive bounty on his head from destroying the cauldrons, but I never really thought it that far through. That's about as far as I went with it. I hadn't really stopped to think about it until now, but yeah, those cauldrons were guarded by people. People Ragna probably sliced right through. But even if I had thought of it that way, I probably would have assumed that Ragna had just, I don't know, knocked the guards out or snuck past them. I mean, this is our protagonist. We followed him for 3 games now, and sure, he's been kind of a gruff jerk at times. Okay, most of the time. But we always saw that when push came to shove, he had a good heart to him. So when the game turns to you and says, oh no, he's got one of the highest body counts in recorded history, yeah, it's kind of shocking. I mean, okay, sure, lots of video games have characters who fight off armies of bad guys, and yes, if you stop and think about it, sure, you're killing those bad guys. But you never look at Nathan Drake and think, oh yeah, that guy is one of the biggest mass murderers in history. And that's because those games never turn to you and say, you are playing a murderer. Those random enemies were people. They had lives, and your character killed them. And Ragna was shocked too. You can tell as the story goes on that this is hitting him hard. And then when he finally reaches the cauldron and he fights New 13, he doesn't try to destroy her. Instead, he reaches his hand out and says he wants to save her. Yeah, remember that story that Rachel told Ragna in the last game, and I said it would all come back around? Yeah, here it comes. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm not entirely sure what it was that made Ragna change his ways here. Maybe it was because he didn't have his memories, so he didn't have a truckload of emotional damage telling him to destroy his sister's robot clones. Maybe it was because in the back of his mind he still had the experience of the last few days of meeting Celica and Noelle and so many other people that inspired him to be a better person. Maybe it's because he just spent the last 24 hours with people telling him that he was a horrible person who had done horrible things and he decided he didn't want to be that person anymore. Whatever it was, he broke the time loop on the first try and tried to help New instead of killing her. Which shocked Nine to fandom a whole lot. Yeah, Nine was now acting on her own, probably because being inside the embryo for whatever control Relius and Terry had over her. I'll admit it's not entirely fully explained and I'm a little bit hazy on it, but all you need to know is that she's back, she's taking control of her body again, but guess what? Nine had kind of gone nuts from being in the Foundry for an entire century, and now she was firmly on team burn everything to the ground. She breaks the illusion that everyone was under in the time loop and tells our heroes that the reason you're here is because you've been chosen by the Azure, and one of you will become the one to inherit the Azure. And that means you'll get to recreate the entire world in whatever way you want. So your greatest, wildest dreams can all become real. But if you want to do that, then you have to make your way to Izanami and kill her.
There she is.
Oh, and one more thing. Doomsday is still happening. Yeah, you guys didn't stop that. The Master Unit is still trapped in here with all of us, and every second it's here, the closer it gets to dying and taking the whole universe with it. So you're on the clock, chop chop, you better kill Izanami quick. However, as soon as she tells everyone this, another Phenomena intervention happens and everyone gets shuffled around. Ragna meets up with Bang, and the two of them start traveling back to Ikarga. Noelle meets up with her old schoolmate Mai, who is a great character, but all of her backstory happens in a manga that doesn't really hold any importance to anything else that's going on right now, so sadly I'm going to skip over her. And speaking of that, Celica ends up meeting up with Naoto Kurogane. Naoto comes from a light manga spin-off, but he actually does play into the story a tad. So, real quick, he's essentially an alternate reality version of Ragna, and he's been sent into this world to try and find his friend Raquel, who is his reality's version of Rachel. The main reason I'm bringing him up is because, as I said, the Master Unit is dying and all reality is crumbling away, but the reason Izanami isn't able to speed up the destruction of the world is because of Naoto. Since he comes from another reality, he's thrown a monkey wrench into this world's destruction. Think of it like this. If you're trying to melt a stick of butter in the microwave, but then someone throws in there a sheet of tinfoil, it's going to cause problems. Izanami is trying to run program worlddestruction.exe, but it keeps running into this one file that it can't identify, so it can't progress further. On his way to face Izanami, Ragnar runs into Rachel, but unfortunately, they also run into Azrael, who was able to free himself from Tokinoe's trap when the world got sucked into the embryo. Things look bad, especially for Rachel, who is quickly losing her powers. Yeah, you remember how I said that she has crazy godly powers because she was the bystander? Well, those powers have been leaving Rachel ever since she got sucked into this world. But that's not because of the embryo, or Izanami, or the Master Unit, or anything else like that. That's because Rachel was a bystander, and part of the deal of being a bystander was that you couldn't interfere with the course of the world. And I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Rachel has been interfering a lot with the course of the world. So eventually, the universe just goes, alright, you've been warned, Rachel, you're fired, you're no longer the bystander. Hey, who was that dancer that was leading that theater troupe? Yeah, they'd probably be fine with just sitting back and watching the world play out. Yep, remember Amani and Ichiki from the last game? That's the new bystander. So Ragnar is going to have to face off with Azrael alone, or so he thinks. Azrael says he wants Ragnar to get stronger before fighting him, and at that moment, Ragnar is then teleported away, as he is then summoned by the Master Unit to fight Izanami. Although Izanami is confused to see him here because only the Chosen can exist within this world, and only the Chosen can face her. But Ragnar wasn't chosen, which might be why he lost his memories when he got sucked into the embryo. So Ragnar faces off with Izanami, and even though Ragnar had planned on killing Saya for years, after everything he had gone through, he decided he now wanted to save him. But Izanami just laughs this off and says that's not possible.
What?
And then she dives
Oh my
on
God,
Ragna's sword. It appears she's killed herself only for another phenomena intervention this
I
time.
drank the wrong speed up
Izanami
potion.
says this is
Oops,
because
whatever.
that
28
girl
minutes.
did not wish for this outcome. Who is that girl? Izanami tells Ragnar to look into her eyes, and upon staring into them, Ragnar sees a woman strung up, and Izanami reveals that is Amaterasu. That is the Master Unit itself. That is what is inside the giant robot god. It's a young woman who looks exactly like Noelle. Izanami then reveals that all of this was a trick. That this promise that you'll get your greatest wish and you'll get to reshape the universe as you want if you defeat her is impossible. Because Izanami is the drive of the Master Unit. That would mean a lot more to you if you knew what a drive was. Okay, time for more explaining. In the game itself, drive is an ability that every single character has that's unique to them. But speaking in terms of the story, a drive is a power within your soul that the Azure gives shape to. At least that's how the game defines it, but I understand that sounds really, really vague. Basically, if your soul is strong, then the Azure can bless you with a unique power. But you can also develop this drive ability if you get close enough and touch the Azure, then your soul will form some new power based on this exposure. It's really confusing, but all you need to know is basically Izanami is a part of the Master Unit's soul, so you can't destroy one without destroying the other, and remember, if you destroy the Master Unit, you destroy the world. So I guess the easiest way to explain it is, think of it like this. Izanami is the Master Unit's stand. Some of you are probably still very confused, and some of you now understand it perfectly.
I understand it perfectly.
Anger, hatred, longing for their existence to end. So they created a god of death. And now the god of death was making it so the only way to defeat her was for the Master Unit to die. And so another phenomena intervention happened, and Ragnar was sent back in time to when he was traveling with Bang a few hours earlier. And he realizes once again they were stuck in a time loop with everyone going on to fight and kill Izanami. But every time they tried to kill her, those fighters would experience torment. They wouldn't get their greatest wish, they would only see their worst nightmares. And then they'd be sent back in time just like him. One thing I really enjoyed about BlazBlue is that every single character's arcade mode is actually canon. I mentioned in Calamity Trigger, every character's story and arcade modes were part of the time loop. But this continues on in every single game. In Continuum Shift, you see different paths for every single character playing out in the arcade mode, but that's because those are the different possibilities that Noelle was observing into existence. In Chrono Phantasma, every single character has a unique boss fight at the end of that shows their own different path. And now in Central Fiction, whenever each character faces off with Izanami in the arcade mode, that's basically their ticket being called and them going up for their turn to defeat her. Now, you've probably got some questions. Well, again, we all have questions. We have nothing but questions at this point. But there's one question in particular you probably have above all others right now. Who was that girl that looked like Noelle inside the Master Unit? Alright. This Blue has a ton of backstory. There's so much that happened before the very first game, and we already went over a good chunk of it. But we're now going further than we ever have before. To the biggest reveal of the game. The thing that makes you look at this entire series completely different. You ready? You ready for the big reveal? The thing that will change the way that you look at this game forever? The thing this entire series was about? Here it comes, get ready!
It's been sitting there ever since you left the school, just like it does every day. Loyal to the zone.
Shout out to the 5 people out there who are interested in learning the lore of BlazBlue and are also familiar with what St. Elsewhere is. The tiny sliver of people in the overlap of that Venn diagram are currently losing their minds. Yes, folks, the entire world of BlazBlue isn't the real world. Well, it is, but it wasn't the original real world.
It's a game,
it was a fake world created by the Master Unit after the original world was destroyed. Yes, when Terry originally escaped from the Master Unit, he manipulated scientists into discovering the Foundry, and there they found the Looney Tunes-style human-shaped hole in the wall that he left when he broke out. These scientists realized this was a way for them to gain ultimate power and be like gods. So they tried to explore the Foundry, but quickly learned that humans couldn't survive in it. So they created the Prime Field Devices, and they sent their first model out, who from this point forward will be referred to as the Original. And the Original made contact with the Master Unit and merged with it.
Whoops.
The scientists were excited because they assumed this meant that they would be the ones controlling the Master Unit. But just like how Susanoo started as an empty suit of armor and then slowly grew a soul, the Azure and the Foundry caused the Original to also grow a soul, and it didn't want to obey these scientists. And because all the Prime Field Devices are linked, the Original's awakening caused all of the other Prime Field Devices to grow their own souls and minds and start thinking for themselves as well. But don't worry, these Prime Field Devices just wanted to be friends. They wanted to work with humans and be treated as equals, like living beings with rights and dignity. To which the humans said,
It's being lost, don't let it get away!
"Take its legs!" Yep, humans being humans proceeded to fear people they did not understand and declare war on the Prime Field Devices. And so the Original had to sit there in the Foundry and watch as their own kind was slaughtered. But the humans went a bit overboard in this war. Not only did they build their own fake robot god, the Takamaka Hara, to try and rival the Master Unit, but they also wanted to build a greater weapon than the Prime Field Devices to wipe them all out. That greater weapon? The Black Beast. Yes, the very first Black Beast was created to try and take out the Prime Field Devices, and surprise, surprise, the humans couldn't control it. It ended up rampaging across the entire world, destroying every single human until the Earth was nothing more than a flaming, scorched wasteland. Experiencing a great sadness over all this, the Original used the power of the Azure to create a brand new world as if none of this had ever happened, and nobody would ever know about the past. Except for Yuki Terumi, who, remember, is immune to phenomena interventions, meaning even though the rest of the world was rewritten around him, he stuck around, ready to try and destroy the world all over again, and this time take the Master Unit with him. But wait! All this Universal Crane dream logic goes even deeper. I mentioned Izanami was a part of the Original. Well, so were all of the other Morokumo units. Izanami was the Original's response to the death and destruction she had witnessed. Lambda was the embodiment of the sadness she had experienced. New was... Okay, I've been told two different things about this one. I've seen people say that New was the Original wanting someone to come and rescue her, which is why she's so love-struck over Ragna. But then that raises some questions about why she also wants to kill Ragna. But then I've seen other people saying that New was the Original's longing for a family, which makes her obsession with Ragna even creepier. Ew. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with that first theory that she's her longing for someone to come and rescue her, because then it at least makes that moment where Ragna offers to save New kind of sweet. And Noelle was the Original's longing to be treated as a normal human being, but here's the big reveal. Ragna? Yeah, He is 100% a creation of the original. And I don't mean like how everything in this world was created by the original. No, I mean Ragna was specifically handmade, custom ordered by the original to be the person to come and rescue her. Yeah, he is the valiant knight in that story that Rachel was talking about in the last game. In other words, he's the character that the original created to be the center of this entire story. He is the central fiction. That's why every time that the Takamagahara needed to reset the time loop, they would destroy Kagetsuchi. Because even if this was a time loop where Ragna did become the Black Beast, that attack would still end up killing him. And that would force the original to reset the loop to try and save Ragna. It's also probably another reason why Terumi made sure to torture Ragna as a kid but not kill him. If he killed him, it would reset the loop. But by torturing him and filling him with rage, it made sure that it turned him into a dark, angry edgelord who wanted to kill people, rather than a heroic knight in shining armor that wanted to save people. It'd be like if Lex Luthor wanted to mess with Superman, but he knew he couldn't kill him, so he just goes back in time and tells him, hey, listen man, ignore all that stuff that your parents are telling you about caring about other people. It's all about looking out for number one, kid. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. It would also explain why when Ragna confronts Izanami and said he wanted to save her, Izanami threw herself on his sword because actually saving Izanami and the original is what the original wanted all along. So if that happened, then the world might actually be saved, and Izanami can't have that. And these aren't even the only little tidbits that we can look at and go, oh, I think they were hinting at this being true all along. If you go back to some of the early games, they flat out spell this out for you. You just don't understand what they're talking about just yet.
This world is nothing but lies, 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 lies! Hey!
You know, if I didn't know any better, I'd say Terumi was trying to tell us something. So, okay.
Oh my
I promise
god,
you
why?
That's the last big massive reveal. Time to race towards the finish line of this story. So Ragna gets sucked into a small pocket dimension created by Hazma. Not Terumi though, because remember after the event of the last game, Hazma and Terumi are now two separate people. Hazma is basically the same as Terumi though, but he's less pissed off and he's more mischievous. Yeah, something to point out, Terumi isn't quite the same person depending on what body he's in. His personality is always merged with whoever he's combined with, so even though Hazma was a puppet created to be Terumi's body, now that they're separated, they are acting slightly different from each other. And they're not the only ones divided up, because Hazma has kidnapped Mu 12. You mean Noelle? No, I don't. Mu 12 and Noelle became separated in the embryo. So Ragna takes Mu with him to be reconnected with Noelle, who is about to have a very bad day. Because all these people trying to challenge Izanami are now being given a brand new mission. If you really want your dreams to come true, you have to kill Noelle. And many of them actually tried to do it. Yes, some of the heroes who we've been following throughout these games finds out they have to kill Noelle to get what they want, and many of them agree to it. Yeah, it's kind of messed up, but I will say when Ragna confronts Bang, he's like the one character who says he won't do it. Yeah, he could have his home back, his nation could be rebuilt, his master and his clan could be revived, but he would never ever consider harming an innocent woman to make that happen. Bang Shishigami, treated like a joke, but he's the realest dude in this entire series. So Ragna has to protect Noelle now, but he has an idea. Remember, the Azure Grimoire has the power to absorb souls, but with some concentration, Ragna can absorb just a part of the soul, specifically a person's dreams. And I don't mean the dreams that you have when you're asleep. No, I mean your goals.
I'd have
The
been.
things that you want most in this world. In other words, the things that all these characters are fighting for. So Ragna goes from one character to another, fighting them and then stealing away their memories of the things that they want the most, making them no longer interested in fighting Izanami or Noelle.
Well, when did I get so
trying to
many
keep
of
the
these?
Azure. However, he is also stealing everyone's dreams for another reason that I'll get to later.
Never mind, he doesn't sell
That is
any
the final, I'll
beetles.
get to it later in this video, I promise.
Who's the guy that sells beetles? I know there's a character like
They
that.
all team up again,
Oh.
and Noelle and Mu 12 merge back together. They realize that the only way to stop Izanami is to stop the Phenomena interventions. Now, the Master Unit was causing some of them, but 9 was causing the rest of them. So, they had to go and stop 9 and destroy her Nautian Forest, Requiem, which was basically a giant god inside of a jar. They go to her lab, fight Nine, who is kicking their butts, but then Nine sees Celica and she freezes for a moment, giving Ragnar the opening he needs to defeat her. However, their victory is short-lived as Izanami finds them, but Nine uses her Nox Victoris to freeze time around them for a few days. Izanami is frozen, but before our heroes can get caught in this same trap, Celica uses her powers to teleport everyone away, and they find themselves warped back to a small church. The exact church where Ragnar, Jin, and Saya all grew up, now fully rebuilt here in the Embryo. The team takes a few days to lick their wounds, realizing that as soon as Nine's spell wears off, Izanami will be freed again, and the world won't have much time left before it fades away. And speaking of fading away, remember, Celica wasn't really herself. She was a clone of the original Celica's soul, and because of that, she had basically been living on borrowed time, and the amount of energy that she had to exert to get everyone away from Nine's trap before they were frozen in place used up what little energy she had left. She's able to spend a few final days with Ragnar and her friends, and then wishes the heroes good luck as she fades away. So, with time running out, Ragnar, Jin, Noelle, and Rachel all head back to Kokonoe and Kagura's headquarters. There they're joined by Hakumen. Hakumen then reveals that the reason why this timeline has gone so differently from his is because of Noelle. Noelle didn't exist in his timeline. Which doesn't really make any sense because we saw the timeline where Hakumen was Jin in the first game, and we do see him interacting with Noelle. Although, after he interacts with her, he then starts screaming out, "Who are you?" So, maybe the Noelle that he was seeing was Noelle from another reality that the power of order was allowing him to see? God, this is all just too confusing. You know what, screw it, we're almost done, just go with it for now. So basically, they say Noelle is a 1 in a million possibility because since she was created when Taki Mikazuchi attacked the lab that she was being created, it caused her to be born with incredibly high powers. This is why even at a young age, she was able to summon out her Nox Victoris. It's why when she looked into the boundary, she was granted the Eye of the Azure, and it's why out of all the Moro Kumo units, she's the one who was able to become the Kusanagi Godslayer. And it's because thanks to the power that was used to create her, Noelle is the Moro Kumo unit who is most
can't
closely
find the
linked to
beetle seller.
original. And her soul is connected with hers, which also means that it's connected to all the other Moro Kumo units. So their
I'll
new
look a little
plan is
longer.
now to go to Izanami and then have Noelle absorb Izanami into herself. So they make their way towards Izanami, but because of some very convoluted magical mishaps, the whole team gets split apart and ends up facing off with different threats. Jin and Kagura face off with Adriel, Hakumen and Tsubaki face off with Relius, Rachel is kidnapped by Hazuma, and Ragnar and Noelle face Izanami. But there's another bit of bad news that just reared its head. You see, the Master Unit had been dragged into this world, but the Azure still existed inside the boundary. And the Azure itself is a living thing, so it decided to activate its own defense system in response to everything that was going on. It called upon a robotic soldier from another reality, S. S is from the visual novel spin-off X-Blades, and just like the mangas, I'm not going to get into the whole plot of them. I will say that the X-Blades games are unique because they do provide some information on the inner workings of the BlazBlue universe. For example, the concept of drives being something in the story rather than just a game mechanic is first explored in X-Blades. The embryo that Izanami is building is introduced in X-Blades. There's some more information on the boundary that's explored. However, I'll let you know
Whatever.
right now, that's all just extra credit stuff. It's just there to fill in the nooks and crannies,
water.
and BlazBlue is a franchise that loves to put in way too many nooks and crannies. So, yeah, check out exploits if you want, but it isn't necessary to understand what's going on. Then again, I say that as somebody who still isn't entirely sure he knows what's going on, so what do I know? What's important for now is that S have been enlisted by the Azure to clean up this world. You see, the only people that should still be alive in this world right now are the Chosen, who are supposed to compete for the Azure. But because Ragnar took away everyone's dreams to keep them from going after Noelle, nobody was a Chosen candidate anymore. So S was going to go up to these characters and erase them from existence. Meaning not only was the world fading
I kinda
away,
wanna get
but
another
now the
horse,
heroes
but
themselves were all coming down
I'm
with a
running
bad
out of
case
places
of,
where
"I
a horse
don't feel
is
so
actually
good, Mr. Stark."
necessary anymore.
But Ragnar and Noelle were able to beat Izanami, with Noelle absorbing her into herself, meaning now Noelle had the memories of being Saya, making Noelle, for all intents and purposes, Ragnar's sister. But little by little, the world was still being chipped away. They had to do something about the Master Unit. Unfortunately, New 13 pops up and Ragnar has to beat her one final time. But as a result of the battle, the heroes were distracted, and Yuki Terumi pops up and takes out Hakumen. Terumi then takes Hakumen's armor and hops into it himself, causing him to turn back into his original self, the Susanoo. Susanoo grabs Noelle and the Master Unit and vanishes with them. They realize that he must have taken them outside the embryo into the space where their world used to exist, which is when they finally address what they've all feared. Everything outside of the embryo was gone. They hadn't just been sucked into this little tiny ball of souls, and as soon as they managed to break it, they'll just go back to the real world. The real world was gone. The world they used to know had been turned into nothingness, which means they either got the Master Unit back and used its power to restore reality, or all was lost. Now, you might be wondering, why did Terumi take the Master Unit and Noelle away? Didn't he want to kill them? Why didn't he just do that here and now? It's because even at his most powerful in the Susanoo armor, Terumi still couldn't kill the Master Unit. But if he went
That makes no sense. But then again, I don't know anything about animals
Azure and obtain enough
and their
power
behavior and
to destroy
all that
the
good
Master
stuff.
Unit once and for all. Although, it's revealed that's not even his true plan. His true plan isn't to just destroy the Master Unit. It's to force the Master Unit to create new worlds for him that he can then keep destroying. He wants to force the Master Unit to watch him destroy her creations over and over again until the end of time. You know what, I'm just going to say it. I don't care much for this Terry fellow. He seems kind of like a jerk. Now, the reason why he took Noelle with him is because the true Azure was blocked out by a gate. Since Noelle had the eyes of the Azure, she could open it. Azure's Guardian S tries to stop Terumi, but as Susanoo, he was far too strong for her and easily overpowered her. So our heroes, and by that I mean the 3 or 4 of them that were still surviving at this point, had to find a way to get back into the Boundary, which meant jumping into a cauldron. They head back to the cauldron in Kagetsuchi, where all of this began, only to be greeted by Hazama. Yes, Terumi's old suit had his own plans on how to torture these heroes, and that started with Rachel, who he was holding captive. He was going to throw her into the Boundary, and without her powers, the Boundary would rip her very soul apart. Hazama and Ragnar fight, and even though Ragnar wins, Hazama still knocks Rachel into the cauldron. It looks like this is the end for her, until at the last minute, Naoto jumps in and saves her. Yeah, been a while since I mentioned him, but he's still been around. I really dig this moment for Naoto, because remember, he came to this reality looking for his friend Raquel, and even though he didn't find her, here at the very end of the game, he ends up saving this reality's version of Raquel. But that was it for Naoto. His time in this world was up, and he too ends up fading away, wishing the other heroes good luck with his final moments. And he's not the only one who's about to go away. Ragnar says goodbye to Rachel, and even though they'd spent their entire lives having a very aggressive relationship with each other, constantly hurling insults back and forth, in that moment, Rachel realizes what Ragnar is planning to do. And so the two of them drop the attitude, they drop their bickering, drop the insults, and she bids him farewell, knowing that this is the last time she will ever see him.
Rachel. 今までありがとうな。
Oh, there's still no dub for Central Fiction? Ooh. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yes!
Ragnar and Jin confront Terumi and they're able to beat him them out the Susanoo unit. But the gate to the Azure has opened, and Ragnar follows Teremy inside,
This horse
where
kinda
the two of
feels-
them have their final battle. And there, just moments
Wrong.
before Teremy can gain the power of a god, Ragnar takes on the form of the
I
Grim
hope it's
Reaper
just
that
my
he's become
imagination.
known for, and he's able to strike down Teremy for the final time, killing him for good. So, the day has been saved. Ragnar, Jin, and Noel are all one big happy family again, right? Well, not quite. There's still one problem. Ragnar knows that their world is still broken, and as long as he continues to exist, the new world will still be built around him, meaning that it could always keep looping again and again. Everyone was still trapped in a story that was written entirely around him. So, he has to use the Master Unit to erase himself from existence. But Noel and Jin refuse to accept this. Ragnar fought off Noel and uses the Grimoire to steal her dreams just like he did everyone else, including the dreams of Saya and the original unit, the dreams that were keeping everyone trapped in this continuous looping story. And then he finally squares off with Jin, who got the final battle with Ragnar that he always wanted, except that now, Jin was fighting to save his brother and keep him from sacrificing himself. He lost though, and in that final moment, Ragnar hugged his brother and sister as they broke down crying. It might seem out of character for Jin to suddenly care about Ragnar, but you have to remember, his whole life, he has been wanting to kill Ragnar because of his sword and because of the power of order. But they commanded Jin to kill Ragnar because he was the Black Beast, because he was a threat that had to be stopped. But now Ragnar was going to sacrifice himself. The Black Beast
Alright,
was
it's
no
correct.
longer a threat. Meaning that when you see Jin crying here and fighting to save his brother, this is probably the first time in over a decade that Jin actually got to be himself again and actually got to show Ragnar how he really felt. That he actually did care for him as a brother. Or maybe he's just sad that he didn't get to be the one to kill Ragnar, who knows. So Ragnar left Jin and Noel with Trinity, who took them back to their world, and she even disposed of the Susanoo unit back into the Boundary, returning the thing that exposed the Boundary to mankind and kicked all of this suffering off back to the darkness from whence it came. Ragnar then went to the Master Unit and spoke with Saya's dream that he had absorbed into his arm, and told Saya that he was sorry for making her wait so long. But now, it was time to finally wake up. So Ragnar used the Master Unit to erase himself from existence. All traces of him ever existing were gone, including from everyone's memories. Before he vanished, he had to create a brand new world. And that's when he revealed the other reason why he had been absorbing everyone's dreams. He channeled all the dreams he...
I need to come up with a good name. Yep. It's to keep me away from my old self, but it's been a while since I just made a name for the sake of a name. I always try putting meanings to names because I believe in the importance of meaning above all else. Reason. So, Aurelia. Just an original name for the sake of trying to be original. Although there's probably at least one person named this, and this isn't actually original. Oh well. Whether it be an actual person's name or an alias for the internet or whatever, I don't care. Aurelia, my girl, we're going places. Mochi, I'll... That's a thing. Good. Well, at least I won't lose anything, but damn. Okay, so I was right. That was the panic moon, so I didn't increase any difficulty for a reason. It totally wasn't just because I forgot.
Been absorbing into the Master Unit, and these dreams created the new world. BlazBlue was set in a world where everything was controlled. The Master Unit controlled everyone by trapping them in a time loop, and then the events of each loop were manipulated by the Takemagahara system. Everyone was a prisoner to their fate and to the gods who were sculpting reality for them. But here at the end, Ragnar creates a brand new world with no gods to govern them, just the hopes and dreams of the people. All those things that the heroes wanted, everything that they had dreamed of, was now possible. Mankind could now finally shape the future that it always wanted. It just had to go out there and make it happen.
What did I do
We end
here?
our story with a look at this brand new world. Noel has quit the NOL and has gone back to the
You want
church
to
where
meet?
Saya grew up, being joined by Lambda and now helping New 13 to recover. Jin and Kagura have returned the NOL, but now they were working underneath the brand new Emperor, Amura. Bang is joined by his clan as they all work together to rebuild Ikaria. It truly is a bright new world where everyone has a chance for a better tomorrow. Except for Carl. Yeah. Carl kinda got a rough deal, and it looks like they're setting him up to be the next big villain. Damn, poor Carl. But hey, everyone else turned out alright. And the story ends with Rachel looking over the sword of someone she doesn't remember. But she says that it gives her hope. And she promises that one day she'll
There's a
find who this sword
Modded
belongs
that she
to.
pet dogs.
And
I'm not
that,
gonna install
ladies
it,
and gentlemen,
but hell
is the
yeah,
story
that's
of
amazing.
BlazBlue. Not including most of the mangas and spin-off games. But if you just wanted to play through the fighting games, that is the story that you need to know. So far, I've mostly just stuck to what was happening without giving my own 2 cents about it, but I will say, this is a story loaded with unique imaginative ideas and amazing characters. But I can't lie, it is a beast to get through, and it could easily be simplified. I mean, hell, this was the simplified version of the story, and I still could have cut some stuff out. It totally could have been told in a clearer, more straightforward manner. It definitely has the feeling that they just kept padding more onto the story without someone there to edit or tell them to cut something out. And I'll admit, I'm not the biggest fan of most of Central Fiction's story. I love how Central Fiction ends, but I feel like going, oh, hey, we're just snapping the Infinity Gauntlet and rewinding everything, and then you all have to race to beat the God of Death. Sort of took the story that had been building up over the course of 3 games and threw a whole lot of it out. I mean, a lot of these characters have their own personal journeys, and that's one of the best things about the cast of this game. And then here at the very end, everyone is just stuck in another time loop where they don't remember anything, and then they're all just thrown into a very anime version of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. And I feel like some of that is simply because, yeah, it's a fighting game that uses sprites, meaning they needed a reason to bring everyone back and not change them around too much. Like, when Bang takes his iconic nail and shoves it into the linchpin, that's huge. That takes away something that he had been carrying around this entire franchise. What's it going to be like for Bang to not have the Rotenjo anymore? What's it going to be like for our heroes to now exist in a world that doesn't have Ars Magus? Oh, we just started up the Pocket Universe and now everything is reset. Ah, got it. Oh, Terumi is separated from Hazuma, so we don't need Hazuma in the story anymore. Wait, no, a lot of people will use him in the game, and he plays differently from Terumi, so we have to come up with some very convoluted reason to bring him back.
You know, regular
So, yeah,
styles are all day
Central
now.
Fiction feels like it fell apart for me in many places. However, I still love these characters. I think they're fun. I think their character interactions are great. And while this story might be dense, it's partly because every single character has their own goals and quests, and that makes them each stand out so much more than most other fighting game characters. So even with the problems that I might have with this story, it's a great vehicle for some amazing characters. But what did you think? As I said, I wanted to make this not to be the complete 100% guide wiki on tape version of BlazBlue. I want it to be a summation of the story in a way that people could understand, because damn did BlazBlue really need a video like that. And I really hope that I was able to accomplish that. I hope someone out there who has always been curious about these games understands it better now, and maybe someone who was intimidated to get into these games because they felt that the lore was just too big. Now it feels like they can finally jump in and give it a try. So let me know how you felt about today's video in the comments down below. You know what, let's get a comment train going here. Everybody let me know in the comments, who's your favorite BlazBlue character? Just let me know who your favorite is, and let me know why you like him in the comments down below.
Until recently, it was S, but now it's new.
Arcade. And if you did like this video, then please, I'm asking you very nicely here to just leave us a thumbs up.
And I want to main her.
Comment, hit the subscribe button. As you can tell,
S is a nice, simple, swordy spacer thingy.
Thumbs up would let me know that you guys appreciate it.
But New seems cool, at least in her latest appearance.
That's also nice.
I would hate learning all 4 versions of her because that's basically what you gotta do, but hey, I'm only gonna be playing one game.
And lastly, if you want to go one step further and support us, we do have a Patreon now where you can vote on polls for upcoming videos and get sneak peeks at what we're working on next. Thanks again for tuning in, everyone. Stay safe out there, and come back next time.
Bruh. Oh, I just realized, wow, I've been playing for quite a while. I'll play for a little longer, since I did spend the first 30 minutes not actually playing the game. Now that's convenient. Up next, I'll have to enable Skywatcher since I'm running out of options. I could try the experimental Moldugas as well. But if that turns out to crash the game too much, I'm going to have to disable it and replace it with something else. This shrine has always been kind of confusing to me. There's no shrine quest for it or anything, and it's not exactly all that well hidden anyway. I mean, hiding the only way you can really hide a shrine, considering there's a shrine detector you get, is if the shrine is just straight up unavailable until you do a certain quest or whatever. So yeah, what the heck is up with this thing? So, what about Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle? They didn't cover Cross Tag Battle. I already played the game anyway, so I'm quite familiar with the story, but honestly, that entire story just felt like a freaking hazy dream to me. What can I say? Life can be a dream. Whoa, new Itoki Hana song? And Toby Fox helped in composing it again. Fuck. Why is it so laggy? God damn it, Paralia.
Yeah.
nice. That last part sends chills down my spine, especially since I can understand it somewhat. The song is slow enough, but there are still way too many words I just don't know in Japanese still. Or hopefully, English subtitles are coming soon. Yeah, I like how you can just do this to trivialize this entire puzzle. They set up all this complicated shit, and you can overcomplicate things, and I did overcomplicate things originally and did make use of the wind, but one day I just came up with the idea of using stasis. Bani-chan. Shoutouts to that guy or girl. Great music video. Yo, Carlos from Insane in the Rain did the piano. Amazing. God damn it. Oh, that isn't actually my favorite song. Since the songs weren't named yet, they were just numbers. But it seems their order isn't quite right. That was the Meru Battle Theme 2, which... That's actually Battle Theme 3. There are 4, actually. But it's called 2. Instead. So I'm gonna try finding guild, I'm gonna try finding the correct battle theme and hopefully it'll work. Oh, oh. I assume this beetle here sells Ryuta weapons.
Yeah!
Hey, the kite shield. It's particularly effective against Hinox's paw. That's interesting. Well, I'm done for now. Next time, we're gonna begin the Rito quest.